What's going on, everyone? It's Adam Craig with Grandstand Golf. In this show, we're doing our DFS picks and sleepers for the 2021 Abu Dhabi HSBC Championship. It's the first event of the European Tour, Craig. Are you excited to have European Tour golf back, or what?
I am excited, man. These, we're here in North America and Canada, and the morning golf, man, I love it. When I get woken up at 5 or 6 in the morning, I want some golf to be on. So yeah, it's great.
Absolutely. So we're starting a fantasy league on the European Tour website. We tweeted it out. So follow us on Twitter at Grandstand Golf. There's a link to the fantasy league. There's the pin you have to enter. Come join our league. We're going to do it through the whole 2021 season. We're going to reward a Grandstand Golf prize back to the winner. But it's going to be a lot of fun because we're going to talk about it on the show. We're going to talk about it on our podcast, and you get to come join and play with us.
Yeah, and we're going to keep the prize pack intentionally vague at this point because there will be some Grandstand Golf swag, but we don't know what all that will be yet. Who knows? If we get big, maybe it'll be like a branded car or something. If not,
the bigger we get, the better it will be. So subscribe to the channel right
now.
At
this point, pretty confident it'd be a nice mug or something like that. But who knows?
Probably some clothing items, but yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah,
but you can.
It's gonna be fun too. I love those year-long things.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are in Abu Dhabi, UAE. Craig, it's a long course, par 72, 7,500 yards, just under 7,000 meters. European Tour has been there since 2006. It's been a Rolex event since 2019. Recent winners, I mean, it's kind of the class of golf as we look at recent winners. Lee Westwood, Shane Lowry, Tommy Fleetwood twice, Ricky Fowler, perhaps before his most recent slump when he was one of the best players in the world.
2016, he was on top of the golf world at that point.
He was. Anything jumping out there with player profile or anything like that?
No, not really. I mean, I think like most courses, I think you want to be looking at ball strikers. But there has been, especially last year, there was a lot of guys that came over from North America that didn't play that well. So we've got JT coming over. I think this is his first time at this event, unless I'm wrong.
I think this is his first time golfing in the Middle East. He's played a couple European Tour events prior to the Open, like the week before the Open. I don't think he's played an event like this.
Yeah, so I wouldn't necessarily just crown those guys right away. So we'll get into our picks here and you'll see who I'm looking at. But
it's Monday right now when we're recording this. The wind is up, though. I would wait until we're closer to tee time to see if there's potentially a showdown or whatever contest you're playing. There might be an advantage in one wave or the other, or one day or the other. So definitely look at that. But right now we're looking at gusts. This is kilometers per hour, 32, 34 kilometers per hour.
One thing I will do probably is stack. I'll put in a lot of entries, and some of them I'll have players on both sides, unless it looks clearly like there's going to be one side favored. But then I'm gonna stack different sides. So like I'll put in a couple lineups that are just one side and just the other side in case there is a huge wave that is favored.
Yeah, I'll do the exact same. If you're new to our European Tour shows, we're going to give you 4 picks, 4 sleepers, 2 picks each, 2 sleepers each, all in this one show right here. So let's jump into it.
Let's do it. You're up.
Rory McIlroy, 11,200 on DraftKings. I mean, everyone knows who Rory is. Everyone knows what type of golfer he is. Has he been slumping in 2020? I think is the question when people are going to roster him for Abu Dhabi. I kind of say no, and I think he's trending in the right direction, both with his T5 at the Masters from Thursday to Sunday. He trended that whole time, and his most recent results, T21, T17, and then T5 at the Masters. I think it's going to be interesting. You might want to play golfers that were trending up right before the break and have been playing well. I think maybe the break did wonders for Rory. Maybe he's kind of coming into a new season with a pep in his step that we're used to seeing from Rory, but his record at Abu Dhabi is absolutely incredible. 4 times he's been a second place finisher. 3 times he's been a third place finisher. He just absolutely crushes this course. I'm gonna jam in Rory up at the top. He's my favorite pick. He's probably my pick to win.
Yeah, I mean, what is he? I think he's 6-1 in this week. So
right.
He's a young father. I think he probably took enough time off that he had time to get settled in, but also enough time to get settled into a practice routine while doing all the things he has to do as a family man.
Yeah.
I think we're not, Rory, what is a slump for Rory could be, getting finishes outside the top 10. I think we sort of saw him start to come out of that. And I'm not really putting what we saw in mid 2020. I'm not really holding him against that anymore. Or holding that against him anymore. So yeah, I like Rory as a play here. It's just going to be a matter of it's tough to shove other people into your lineup because he's so expensive.
For sure.
My first one here. So I've gone a little bit cheaper with my top plays here because I
mean, a tease into our show. I feel like you're going more balanced. I'm going different ends here. But
totally it is. So, may want to check out our bounce back videos because both these first guys might feature in there. Top 5 guys to bounce back in 2021. Yep. But I'm looking at Justin Rose, 9,300. I just really like that price. His course history here, he hasn't played a ton here. He's got 3 starts. He does have a second place all the way back in 2013, and then a 12th into 22nd. So, not a ton, obviously not as good a course history as Rory. But I think that we know he can play this course, obviously, with a second place.
Yeah.
I think that people think his game is in a little bit of a worse place than it is, if you're just kind of recollecting. He did miss a cut in his last tournament at the RSM, missed it on the number. That was that one where it was a brutal cut, where at the last second it moved, and there was only exactly 65 guys that made the cut in a huge field. I mean, it's a miscut. It is what it is. He was, 23rd at the Masters the week before. 17th at the Zozo, and he had a top 10 at the PGA Championship. So, he missed 9 cuts all throughout 2020. It's the most he's missed since 2000, I want to say, the year 2000. So it's been a little while. But I think, for sure, for all the reasons that we spoke about him as a bounce back, I like him this week. I think that this is a big year for Justin Rose. I think that we've got a Ryder Cup year. We've got Olympics year. I think for someone like him, he's not a businessman. He's a businessman. He has, he's got so many things tugging him in different directions that I think he's going to settle in. He's not old enough that his game is over the hill. It's just for guys like him, I think you do get pulled in a lot of directions. So there's times where you don't necessarily get to focus as much on golf, but I think that is going to be a priority for him this year because it is a big year for him. So
completely agree. And I really like his price. He's actually right below Lee Westwood and right above Kamer, I believe. So he's sandwiched in between 2 guys that I think will be pretty popular. So that might lower his ownership even more than it should be.
Yeah, and I think if you were to if you think about all those guys' games and say they all bring their A game, I think Justin Rose still has them. Maybe 10 years ago, Lee Westwood and Justin Rose would be pretty close, and Martin Kamer is just maybe a step behind. But I think if we see Justin Rose coming back with his A game here, I think it's a steal at 9,300.
Yeah. Moving on. Adri Arnaus, 8,200 is my next top play on DraftKings. I think he's just a really, really good fit here. So looking back at his 2020 Euro stats, he's 15 strokes gained tee to green over 1. He's 37th in driving distance. I'll talk about driving distance a little bit. I think there is some merit to guys that can kind of really push it out there, but he had 309 yards on his driving distance. Really kind of a roller coaster finish to his 2020. T5, miscut. T6, miscut. T10. The T10 being the most recent one at the DP World Tour.
Oh, man, that's too bad because you really want him to miss a cut, and then you'd get the top 10 next week.
I know. Maybe it's a miscut. I don't know if the pattern is going to... I don't like that pattern, but I think we can build off the T10 in the championship finale that they had in Dubai. I think he plays really well in the desert here as well. He has won in the UAE before at the 2018 Challenge Tour finale final. I really like. I think the price is too cheap. I think he pairs really well with Rory if you want to go jam in Rory up top. So yeah, Arnaus, I really like him this week.
Yeah, I like him as well. I've started him quite a few times through November, December there, and maybe some of those top 10s and some of those missed cuts. So I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship. The other guy there that I was looking at a similar price, I want to say maybe he's 81, is Sami Välimäki. I always love him. So I'll have some tough decisions to make around that price point, but My other one, I'm going back up a little bit more expensive here to Robert McIntyre, 9,000. So, if you do start your first one a little bit lower, I think you could potentially plug him in as a second play. I think, to me, he doesn't have I think he has one start here without, not a good course history. But to me, it's just we've got a 24, 25-year-old player who is ascendant in terms of I'm not going to look at his course history because I think he's a better player than he was when he's played here before.
100%. Agree.
5 straight top 23 finishes to end the season, 3 straight top 10. So one of the things, you look back, it was around October, he took about a month off with injury.
Yes.
And he came back and he was 3 straight top 10s out of that break. So, there's some guys where you kind of feel like they need to have a competitive tournament or two before they really start to hit their stride. But I think he is someone that can show up without competitive golf in the last couple of weeks and play top 10 golf, and one of those was a win for him. So I just think that to me the ceiling is really high. I think you get win equity for him at 9,000, and then I'm looking at ball strikers this week. 9th in strokes gained total. These are 2020 stats for the European Tour. 9th in strokes gained total, 7th tee to green, and then that sneaky one that I love for DraftKings play, 3rd in greens under regulation. So whether it's hitting those par fours and one, I don't actually know if we have drivable par fours here, but it means you're hitting a ton of par fives and 2, and so I just think even if he doesn't end up winning those top 10s, when you do get maybe an eagle, if not a bunch of birdies with those greens under regulation, I like it.
I mean, I really like Bobby Mack. I'm a fan. I've been a fan for a while, but I think, like you said, since that break, he's just been playing really good, consistent, great golf, really. So if there's anyone who can carry over their form from last year, I really like Bobby
and everything
Mack.
You read about him, he's not happy. Like, he wants to move up into the next level of golf. He wants to be on the Ryder Cup team. He wants to be, able to play in the States at the bigger prize pool events, and maybe take more of a Tyrrell Hatton's approach to his schedule. And
a lot of storylines going into this year with Ryder Cup and Olympics and everything like that. It's gonna be great. Jumping into our sleepers. So for European Tour golf, we go 8,000 and below. I jammed in Rory, so I'm going to be in the 6s. I'm scraping the 6s this week. My first one, Joakim Lagergren. It's a guy I've played before. He's 6,900 this week on DraftKings. His European stats from 2020 are pretty spectacular. 5th strokes gained approach, just 0.85. 29th strokes gained total, 8.4. He's a strong putter. Strokes gained total, it just brings everything together. It's not one of these ball strikers that can't get it done on the green. He is also really strong on the green as well. He finished 2020 fairly strong. I would say good momentum going into 2021. So in his last 8 events, he has 3 top 10s, including T8 in Dubai. That was the golf in Dubai. It wasn't the World Champ or the European Tour Championship. It was the golf in Dubai. And 1 missed cut, the showdown in the Aphrodite Hills. Maybe he was being a little bit riskier, but it was kind of a funky.
It was a weird tournament.
It was a weird tournament, so I'm going to kind of give him a pass on that. So a lot of made cuts, and then getting those into the top 10 with his ball striking, which I really, really like. Looking back here, he's had 5 trips to Abu Dhabi, 2 top 25, so he can fit the course. He can play it well. I think he, like you said with Bobby Mack, he's just kind of becoming a better player, not to the level of Bobby Mack, but he's becoming a better kind of player as the seasons that have come along. So I like Lagergren a lot at 6,900.
Yeah, I haven't looked into him a whole lot, but you make a pretty compelling argument. I think that there's going to be a lot of, you're going to have to go down. If you do want to play top guys, you're going to have to go down and find value. And so, there's a couple of young guys I was looking at in the low 7s that are pretty attractive, high volatile play. But I do think Lagergren is someone that I will probably have in my player pool. So jumping up, I was a little bit cheaper with my top picks, so I'm gonna spend a bit more with my sleepers here. I'm starting out with Laurie Canter. Comes in 7,600 on DraftKings. He was just in a great form from the COVID restart through the end of the season. That's 13 starts. He had 5 top 10s, 9 top 35s. So just 9 out of 13. Yeah. He's really. well, first off, he's not ruining your DFS lineups, but then in a bunch of those, he's really making value for you.
It's good enough to be great as kind of that fifth piece in, maybe, or
yeah. And so, I basically, the guys I've found here this week, I don't know what form is going to look like. So I did choose guys that my two sleepers here that I think had good form at the end of the season. But really, I just want guys who I ball striking travels to me. So he was number 1 strokes gain off the tee. He was number 18 tee to green. And like Robbie Mack, he was number 4 greens under regulation. He's someone who can score and he can go really low. He does have a little bit of a problem with stringing together 4 full rounds, and that can be what holds him back from more top 10s. But I think he's volatile, but he has huge upside. No course history. So to me, is that a good or a bad thing? I think it means that people who are down here, like there's a few other people like Scott Jamieson and Jamie Donaldson who they have really good course histories, and I think their ownership that will bump up their ownership a bit. But with no course history, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. So I'm just thinking that it means that obviously you have less of a feel for how he's going to play here, but I think it also means that the ownership is going to be a little bit depressed because of it.
Suppressed. Yeah, I agree. I think you can go into the holiday break and you might lose a hot putter, but you're not going to forget how to smash the ball off the tee. I mean, that's pretty built into who these guys are. So yeah, I think the ball striking continues one year to the next. Absolutely.
Okay, last one here.
My last sleeper, Gavin Green, 6,700, kind of following that ball striker track a little bit, definitely the distance, but his 2020 European stats, 21st strokes gained approach over a half stroke, 40th strokes gained total, 0.72. So again, he's a strong putter. He's a green putter. He's in the positive in putting. So he can translate that ball striking onto the greens. And then, I mean, this is just scoring opportunities. Like you said, the greens under regulation, the driving distance. You have to set yourself up on the fairway. He's 9th driving distance at 319 yards. It's just scoring opportunities. It's DraftKings scoring opportunities. All those things, all those good things come from the tee box. He has played here twice. So last year, T21, great finish. 2018, T32. So I think he is a good fit for this course. I don't think he doesn't have great form coming into the last little bit of 2020. So I'm betting on talent rather than recent form. And I think he has the talent at 6,700 to be kind of that sleeper that you're looking for that could pop for a top 20, that could pop even more.
Now, do we know if he's already in Abu Dhabi, or are we potentially in a Cyprus situation? Was it Cyprus, I think, where he was the one who showed up about hours before his
Thursday morning?
Yeah.
I was on his Instagram. I think he's there. I would have to check his stories again, but I'm not worried about that. I think he's there.
We'll let you know if he's not.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, my last one here. I feel like I've brought this guy up a bunch of times now. Antoine Rozner, it just seems like he's still too cheap, and it may be reflected in ownership, but he comes in at 7,500 on DraftKings. You look at his form over the last 9 starts, 9 top 36s, so I extended that one because he did have a 36, but no miscuts first off, that means so 3 top 10s, including the win in the Golf in Dubai Championship, whatever they called that tournament. So, he's just super hot in terms of form. Whether that carries over, I don't know, but he's a good ball striker. 11th strokes gained total, 11th tee to green. He's more, I think he skews a little bit more approach than off the tee, but I'm cool with that either way. He's pretty solid. Number 4.
It's translating into hit birdies.
Yeah, as long as he's hitting the ball close to the hole and then making a few of those putts. Number 4 in scoring average. So, strokes gained total, I like more than scoring average. But to me, it's still just showing that he's scoring well. No course history, again, similar to Canter. I think that, I think his ownership will likely be a bit higher just because I think he's a fairly safe name down there for people that need to find the value.
And recent winner and all those kind of things.
I think there's a lot of things playing against him in terms of ownership. So I still, though, I'm gonna plug him in just as a safe play.
Seems like a safe play with upside. My sleepers probably lower floor, wouldn't be surprised if there's a missed cut, but they also could pop. I feel like with your sleepers, there's definitely that higher floor they give you, and then I think the ceiling is right there, of course.
Yeah, and I think the problem will be is if you take all if you go all chalky guys, you're not going to have a great DFS week.
For sure.
But yeah. So mix it up. Maybe use him as a safe sleeper, or one of these guys as a safe sleeper, and take one of the someone who is more volatile, higher risk. But yeah. I
love it. Thank you for watching, everyone. Make sure to join our fantasy league. I'll leave the information below in the description. Like and comment on the video, and make sure you subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, and just further on that, that's through the European Tour, so we don't know what the pricing or anything about that yet, but we will get on top of that. And good luck everyone this week, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, see ya.